you interested in the field that you're in?
Well, thank you. And hello, all. As I shared previously, my twin sister and I joined the Air Force at the exact same time. We joined right out of high school simply because I wanted to go to college to be a culinary chef. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And when I went to orientation, Johnson and Wales in Charleston, in South Carolina, tuition was about $70,000. And that was when my mom told me, "You won't be going to culinary school." And so my very next option then was to join the Air Force. I am a twin. And so my sister and I joined right out of high school. And as Kylie stated, I got stationed in Bolling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. And some wonderful Vietnam veterans took me under their wing. And they were talking about their investments one day. And they saw me listening. And they said, "Would you like to come over and hear what we're talking about?" And of course I did. And so that put me on my path to investing.
Oh, wow, what a unique experience.
Mhm.
That is so cool. What kept you with it after all those years? So you initially did that first investment. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that very first time, and then what kept you in it?
Well, coming in the Air Force as an Airman Basic, recognizing that it was going to take some time to make rank, I knew one that not only did I want to learn more about investing, I wanted to become a commissioned officer. So at Bowling Air Force Base, I started talking to officers, and they asked me, "Well, do you have a degree?" At that time, I did not. And so I had to find mentors, not just mentors with investing, but mentors who could also guide me along my military path. It's been a while, but when I enlisted, I came in as a 3AO information manager. And so I started off in what we used to call orderly rooms. And that gave me the opportunity to actually learn a lot about one, what I wanted to be. I have a master's degree in business and a bachelor's degree in business, but I also had the time to learn about investing. So I was that airman going to the base library, looking at Robert Kiyosaki books, Dave Ramsey books, Money Magazine, Entrepreneur, Enterprise. While a lot of my friends were having fun, and I had fun, my goal really was to see what I could do in 20 years. Could I enlist at 18 and retire at 38? And that's what I did. But as I say to a lot of my friends and a lot of my peers, I was a goal setter. From the moment I enlisted and went to Lackland Air Force Base, I knew then in basic training that I had steps in mind. Graduate basic training, graduate tech school, and get to my first base, and goal after goal after goal, I just continued to mark those off.
Wow, that's so cool because there's so many of us out here. How I know me as a young airman, I was not thinking about any of that. So the fact that you just started so young and really set yourself up now is that's amazing.
Well, my
It,
twin sister was with me. My twin sister and I rarely do twins get stationed 3 times together, but my twin sister and I were one together in basic training, and then we also got stationed together in Okinawa, Japan, and at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, where my twin sister also got commissioned. Having someone with you along your journey, that's key. I had an
Mhm.
accountability partner, and I pray for all of you. I pray you have someone that motivates you to be your very best. In my case, it was competitiveness. My twin sister and I were in the same squadron at one time. And so, we would be able to call our mom and say, "Guess what I did today? I got Airman of the Quarter. I got NCO of the Quarter." And so my mom was like, "Okay, you both are going to do well." But I have my twin sister with me from the day I enlisted until the day we both retired. We're now both retired military officers. So find somebody that you can also root with you and for you.
Wow. Fate knew you needed your twin sister there because getting stationed at multiple places at the same time is insane. My dad actually, crazy enough, him and his twin did the same exact thing and they got stationed 3 different times together.
Oh my goodness, man! I thought we were rare. So now I
No,
realize,
yeah. I've never heard anybody else have that story, so that's so cool.
yes, 3 times
If
together.
if you could go back and tell that Janelle something, if you could give her one lesson about that time, what would it be?
I think I would have tried to enjoy my airman experience a little bit more. My sister and I, when we were in Okinawa, for those that have ever been stationed at Kadena Air Base, there was a club called the Hook and Jab or the Globe and Trotter where the Marines would have fun. I was always, studying, 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 studying. The end result was I got to knock out all of my goals. But I think if I could share with anyone, enjoy the experience too. I'm so thankful that I met all of the goals that I set out for myself. But I also get asked even today, we know that you've achieved success in finance and investing and saving, but did you live your life? We know
Mhm.
you have, portfolio of investments, but did you live? Well, of course I did. But looking back, are there things that I think I could have done differently? Yes. So enjoy the ride, stop to smell the roses, enjoy the experiences as you're going through it, because you're going to get to the end of your life and realize, what did I give up to get to the level of success that I have today? And I don't want anyone to miss out on what really God has for you. So I want to make sure I add that.
Yeah, I really like that because I preach on that right now. I'm actually a transitioning veteran as well as everyone in here. And I feel like it's so easy for us to all just kind of try to get through this phase because it's stressful and it's change and it's super scary. So
Mhm.
I find myself kind of just like, oh, I just need to get to the next place. And I hear a lot that I just kind of need to sit in this place that we're all in right now. So.
Enjoy, enjoy the experience, enjoy the overseas assignments, even enjoy the austere assignments. And I'm not going to talk negatively about any base, but my sister and I, when we were stationed in Okinawa, she got assigned to Bowling Air Force Base. I went to Cannon Air Force Base. For anyone that's been stationed in Cannon in Clovis, New Mexico, I immediately started dreading what I didn't know about this location. However, it turned out to be one of the greatest blessings of my career. While it wasn't Okinawa, while it wasn't Bowling Air Force Base where I was once stationed, it gave me direction. I went to bowling as a staff sergeant in my last year of college. And so the first thing I did, my sponsor took me to the education office. I don't believe we use that term anymore. But as a staff sergeant, I went to the education office and signed up for my last year of college while simultaneously working with medical service corps officers. I was able to mentor with the MSCs at Cannon Air Force Base. And so I really decided, well, I'm not going to dwell on what I can't change. While I did everything in my power to get stationed with my sister after we left Okinawa, it wasn't in the cards for me. But instead of dwelling on that, I made, a decision to do what I could do. And in the end, Cannon Air Force Base was one of the best things for my career.
Yeah. I think we've all had one of those in our career. Mine was off in Nebraska for a few years. I see a bunch of people putting theirs in the chat, so we've all been there. We've all learned much needed lessons from not great places.
Mm.
So, what do you think the biggest thing that in that the Air Force taught you to for your career in this?
Well, I'll say this: every branch has core values.
Hmm.
And what I would ask is that the core values that you've all learned, don't put them on the shelf at any point. Because once you take the uniform off and you put on a suit coat like this, the core values that were placed inside of us, and we came in with them. My mom gave me my first set of core values, but the Air Force's core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do. When I left the military, I got picked up as a defense contractor. And while I am an entrepreneur now, I will say this: the core values are most important. And you're going to leave, you're going to transition, you're going to take jobs. And of course, in the economy that we're in, you may stay in that position for a while, you may not. But please make sure whatever you do, whatever drives you, whatever your moral compass is, don't put that on the shelf. Not for any amount of money, not for a promotion, not for a carrot that says, hey, this will be you in 6 months or a year if you do this. Don't do that. make sure whatever guides you the day you entered and the day you exit will guide you in the second half of your post military career. That's my wonderful, wonderful advice I'd love to share.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, I know I do, kind of take advantage of those military core values, whatever branch, just because they're so instilled in us, they're forced onto us. So we're like, oh, those aren't important, or I don't really, I follow those because I have to, but they're
Yes.
they're what they are for a reason. So,
I I love them. And it's interesting. I've been out of the Air Force now 8 years this August. And I can't, and my husband is still active duty. My husband is a commander here at the Defense Logistics Agency here in Greenville, Texas. And I really did not rely on the core values as much as I thought I would, but I recognize they'll never go away. I did,
mhm.
I spent 20 years of my life and 8 years as a dependent spouse, which I still am. And so my husband comes home every day with his uniform. And so I won't really get away from it. But even when he retires in the next 2 years, they're our core values.
Yeah.
You can't take that away. And so embrace it. I think when we transition, you don't want to be known by your rank. You don't want to be known by your AFSC or your MOS. However, I'm learning to love and embrace the core values that I ascribe to in the Air Force because truly it's setting the foundation for my post military career. And it's what I'm building my new business on. It's, when you do business planning for business school and, in my master's degree, we had to do a lot of case studies on businesses and what the foundation was. I decided for my business, 3FiveWealth, I didn't have to worry about the core values. The core values for my company are integrity first, search for self, and excellence in all we do.
Yeah. Getting into that, I would love for you to tell everybody a little about your business, kind of what you do, how you came up with it, where you're at in it now.
Yes, and if you wouldn't mind, if I would like to highlight something I just received in the mail this week. So, the Believers magazine is a magazine for veterans by veterans. The founder, Christy Spites, is an Army veteran, and she was stationed with my twin sister when she left the Air Force and went into the Army. And they were stationed at Fort Stewart. And so, the Believers in Business magazine is by a veteran for veterans, and she highlights veterans. And I'm on the cover of this magazine, which came out last week. But 3 5 Wealth, my company, since you allowed me to highlight it, why I do what I do. When I retired at 38,
Mhm.
I realized that I had hit one of my financial goals. I had hit $1 million in my investment portfolio. However, last year when I was 45, I hit another goal. I finally hit my multi-million-dollar investment goal.
Wow.
And as a retiree, I looked over that my life, there is a term called FIRE, where you're financially independent, retired, and you're able to do other things. As a military officer who's retired, married to another military officer, I looked outside of my ability to want to go into corporate America again, and I decided I don't want to do that. What I want to do is inspire individuals who want to find their own version of financial freedom. I joined the Air Force as an Airman Basic with $3,000 in the bank. So I didn't inherit my money. I saved, I invested, I commissioned, I got promotions, and I learned to live well below my means. However, mastering the stock market, and I'm not a master, but I did decide to create a community called 3 5 Wealth, for those who would like to learn more about investing, more about trading, and also I have a certificate in financial planning. This is a community where we're to help one another. I will say that it is a new community. And so as we grow, I'm doing the majority of the engagement, but I do pray in the future that individuals who really do have a desire to learn more about investing and trading could come into this community, ask questions of not just me, even though I'm the one that's answering a lot of the questions, the vision I have, if not today, if not next year, but into the future. This community is for us, individuals who really don't know everything there is to know, and someone who may know more about, for example, options. I understand options trading, but I would love someone who trades options to come into our community and be the person that if there was a question to ask, they could answer it. I'm all stocks. My husband, he's, into crypto. And so that's my community, really giving people a safe space to ask questions about life, about investing, about trading, and whatever else is on their mind. So it's a new community. We went live in July. So we have
Oh,
about
wow.
40 members. I must say that one of our lovely members is here in this community. So if she wants to say who she is, she can put a heart out there. But I do appreciate having one of your members as part of my community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a feeling I know who that is. So, oh, that's so amazing. Somebody put in the chat, I think there was a joke, but they said, "Where do I sign up?" Really, what is that? How do we become a part of your community?
Well, I would be happy to drop a link in the, it's 3fivewealth.com. May not be that easy because I don't have my link up. If Maria would be so happy, so kind to put it in there, I would appreciate it. I will say though, it's only $99 to enter. Because it is an information system, there is a cost to keep the lights on. In the community, I also offer stock courses. We finished our first 8-week course last month. And so I will say this. When I was a young airman, I made my first purchase in the stock market. I didn't have a foundation. I had someone who I trusted give me a stock pick. For those of you who have heard the term pump and dump, that's what I invested in. I trusted the individual with their advice, but I was too young to know how to exit. That individual helped me open my brokerage account. He showed me how to buy the stock. He did not teach me how to exit. And so what happened? That stock went up and went down, and I was what they call a bag holder. That happened almost 30 years ago, and I can never forget it. And so the purpose of the 350 community, while there are millions of places you can go online to learn about stocks and investing, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, I'm going off of the experience that I learned. I went through the fire and and of course, I do appreciate I have a lot of help with my managed portfolios. While I do day trade and swing trade and scalp trade, Charles Schwab is my broker, so they do manage some of my investments. However, a good portion of my money, I learned how to trade in the stock market. And that's the purpose of the 350 community. You're able to ask questions of someone that actually trades for a living. It's what I do. I no longer work for anyone but Janelle Quinne, JJMJQ LLC. That's what I do.
So you're well, not only financially free, but you are your own boss, just doing what you love, teaching others. I love it. I love it so much. All the hearts in the chat. I know everyone agrees. That is so, so amazing.
Deserve it. I will say that, after 20 years, I do appreciate the time that I worked as a defense contractor. Uh, I came out of the Air Force and got picked up as a project scheduler. For those of you who've done, project management work, I did that for a few years. And then I got the PMP. There is a program, O20 IVMF. Some of you may have heard of it. Institute for Veterans and Military Families, I believe is the acronym. They do give a free uh, credit certification or accreditation to individuals that have a DD 214 or their spouses. And so I went the project management route. And thankfully, once I finished the PMP, I got an immediate promotion. I was already working in project management. And so, what I will say, no matter what you choose to do, when you leave your service and you find your next position, do your very best. I transitioned from a medical healthcare management role into project scheduling, something I had never done before. So what I went to lynda.com, if that tells you how long ago that was. I went to lynda.com and I started studying project scheduling. And then I advanced from project scheduling into project management. and I ended up getting the PMP certification. And from that certification, I received a $26,000 pay increase. That was very, very helpful because that pretty much, I didn't have to spend it. I pretty much put my entire promotion pay as a project manager into investing. And during COVID, of course, we had a bull market. And so, that was a great time to learn how to invest and trade as well.
Okay. So for
Mm,
all of us that are didn't start at 18 and we're just learning from you right now, what's the first step towards financial independence that you recommend?
I'm glad you asked the question because I'm also back in school for financial planning. And I've
Hmm.
had a lot of individuals come to me with that very same question. However, even in my current studies, given that case study, the first thing we would have to do is take a look at your finances.
Mm,
And I've met with probably 60 individuals since March. And when we start talking about their finances, while I would love to teach people how to invest in the stock market, financially, if you have other priorities, then those are the areas you actually focus on first. Reason
mhm,
being, we all know that there are risks to investing in the stock market. And I would be reticent to put anyone, and it's not me personally, but recommending that anyone invest in the stock market knowing that the money you put in today could be gone tomorrow. And so we look at budgeting. Budgeting is the first thing we sit down and do. A lot of people think it's a bad word. It's what brought me my wealth. When I was a staff sergeant at Cannon Air Force Base, I was looking at my budget, and I was a single NCO with no children. And after paying all of my bills in a one-bedroom apartment, I had $385 left. And I sat wondering, what do military families who have children do who are the same rank? Because you
mhm,
all know, no matter what your rank is, just because you have numerous dependents, it doesn't mean you make that much more money. And that's when budgeting really became key to me. I
mhm.
started focusing on what I was bringing in and what I was shelling out. And that's what I bring to my investing and budgeting workshops now. Even this week, I'll be in Arlington briefing at the More Than a Military Spouse Summit, talking to individuals about budgeting. And even in the last few months, I've met with individuals, and the very first question I'll ask, do you know how much money you're spending each month? 9 out of 10, the individuals do not know. Some individuals are underestimating what they're spending by 50%.
Mhm.
And you recognize if you don't know where your money is going, and if you're bringing in less than you're spending, it's credit cards that I am finding are helping individuals make it from month to month. So if you have not started investing and you were meeting with me today or tomorrow, the first thing I do is pull up the same budget spreadsheet that I've been using since I was a staff sergeant. And it's simple, it's easy to use, but it takes time because it's really you being honest with yourself what you're spending. If you have money that we can now put into the stock market, well, that's the starting point. But we don't have those conversations until you take an honest look at your finances and make sure that you are taking care of the other important areas first.
Yeah, that's such a simple, that's not what I expected you to say. That's so simple and easy, and I feel like a lot of people think that you need a lot to start out this thing, but you said you just started out with a couple $100 extra, and that's where you started. So,
When I was an airman, I started out with $25. That's when we were doing Vanguard life cycle funds. So for those who really don't have the time or don't want to pick individual stocks, when I was in my early 20s, I was doing life cycle. So I just did a monthly allotment to a fund. And in your 20s, the majority of the money is allocated to higher risk, higher reward um, equities. And then as you get older, they move your funds, I'm sure, as you all know, from out of stocks, perhaps into bonds, into cash. And every 5 to 10 years, those accounts reallocate. Well, for me, I still have a lot of those funds. My TSP, when I retired from the Air Force, I rolled it out of the TSP into Charles Schwab. So I still kind of have some of those funds. They're just managed by Charles Schwab. But if you today are looking at your present landscape and you say, well, I only have $25 to invest, while I am not representing Charles Schwab, there are things such as slices where you can now buy a slice of a stock. You can, and I found out as last week when I was, because I do Charles Schwab webinars daily, I've done 3 already. You can put $5 on a stock and you technically own a slice of a stock. And a lot of brokerage firms are making it possible for individuals to invest in these stocks in this manner.
Wow, that's so cool. I would have never known.
Mhm.
Michael, before we get to you, somebody asked a question in the chat that it's been on my mind ever since they put it in the chat, so thank you. They said, did you ever get back into your culinary arts degree?
Well, here's the thing. My my oldest daughter, she's 15. I'm so thankful that even though I didn't get to do that, God blessed me with a mini me. My daughter is not enrolled in the culinary arts school here in her high school in Dallas, Texas, and they have a culinary arts center. And to be honest, she clearly has the desire. She's making cookies from scratch, pasta from scratch, brownies from scratch. Even when I was considering culinary arts, I wasn't doing that. But the blessing with this generation, they have YouTube. They have a
Mhm.
lot of things that we did not have to bring them up to speed quicker. And so for my daughter, we have desired to ensure that if it's her, desire to go to culinary art school, we can now afford to do that for her. My husband gave his GI Bill to my youngest, and I gave my GI Bill to my, or post 9/11. Let me make that clear. I was able to roll over my GI Bill to my daughter since I got all of my education while on active duty. So I'm thankful I'm able to give my daughter what I wanted. She truly has the skill and the ability to take it to the next level. So it worked out in the end.
Yeah, that's so amazing that she's gonna pursue that career that you thought you were gonna want to be on. So it'll be so cool to see what she's up to. All right,
Mhm.
Michael.
All right, thanks for coming back, Janelle.
My pleasure. My
Um,
absolute pleasure.
and I know some of us have been here for a little bit, have got to hear from you before, and it's great that other people are getting to hear from you. Um,
Mhm,
I just wanted to share um how you simply took out the unknown because so many people um stop to before investing because of the unknown.
mhm,
And surely some of that was because of, the School of Hard Knocks
mhm,
that come through. And I just want to share a quick story, like because I had a fellow sailor that I was talking to and good friend of mine, and um this happened 20 years ago. So that and we're still connected. And it just happened to be that we just were meeting. He's in same town as I am, and we met for coffee. And he brought up how thankful he was from a conversation we had 20 years ago. Because he, again, was very unafraid. He was afraid of going in, of anything, because, at that time, 20 years ago, it just seemed like if you wanted to be in the stock market, you had to be a guy who wore a suit and and goes to like these massive exchanges, and that was the only way to do it. Um, but I talked with him back then about something that I did, and I'm very glad I did, because somebody with me, and it was just a simple point of uh, it was a simple point of just start somewhere. And so what he did uh, is what I did when I first started with that, is I said just take, whatever amount that you can, whether that be $20, $50, $100, whatever that is that you can. And the way that we started with it was just put that into a CD.
mhm,
That way, you know that at the end of that, you're going to have something of growth from that. And
Hmm.
then when that CD matures, you take that and you do that again and again and again. And then once that amount starts to, to develop to of a, enough of a, uh, amount that you can start to then invest in other things from that. And so what it became and the story that we kind of told with it is like once you start investing and then you reinvest those earnings over and over, and as that gets bigger, at the time the movie that was big that we used was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You started with this small little investment over here, and through time, through all these years, all that redistribution and reallocation and reinvesting is happening in the end. And then you get to that point where you want to be at the end where it comes together and all the work that you did. But it all started with like a $20, $50, $100 investment
Yeah,
20 years ago.
absolutely. Just have to start somewhere.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, Michael. Ashley, go ahead.
I'm talking to myself here. Sorry.
We can hear you now.
Hi, Miss Janelle. So nice to meet you today, and many blessings to you. I just love your spirit, and I love the wisdom that God has given you. It's so beautiful, by the way. Um,
Mhm.
Thank you. This was confirmation for me. I didn't get to meet you recently, so I'm glad I was able to get on right now. I saved $20,000 last year as a single mom, recently single mom, while I was stationed in Ramstein. But you literally blessed me today because I've been in a place as I'm in my medical board where I'm like, okay, God, I know there's things I need to cut out to get to where I need to be, like getting back to doing my own nails, my own hair, because I know how to do it, and just those little things to get back to saving and investing. And I actually want to connect with you because I know that that's my next phase in my life as I'm getting out and just pursuing a new start with God and a new season. So thank you for the words of wisdom because I'm well watered right here, right now. So thank you.
I'm,
Many blessings to
I'm
you.
so happy to hear that. Ramstein was my last assignment before I retired out of DC. Really enjoyed it, so I'm more than happy to meet with you. And congratulations on your recent wins. I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica.
Hello, Janelle. How are you?
You.
I just really loved your story. So your story really resonates with me. I love your story and your heart for helping others, especially women, build wealth. And it's very clear that you lead with purpose. I can just feel it through the Zoom screen. I'm also in the middle of retiring from the Air Force. Obviously, I'm in Skillbridge and launching a women's handbag line called In Regs, while also trying to build a platform to empower other women in transition as well as in business. So, for those of us who feel that same way, that calling to use business kind of like a ministry to teach, empower, and create things, what is one thing you tell women like us, or just women in general who are learning to trust the process, believe that they're capable of more?
Well, one thing I would recommend to all, so thank you for that beautiful question. Next week, I start a cohort with the Dallas Mavericks. Apply for all the help you can get because I truly want to do exactly what you're doing, help others, but I'm just one person. And so while I have a lot of experience, I started applying for cohorts just like the one that you're in that helps you level up and iron sharpens iron. And so continue to learn as much as you can. I'm looking forward to the assistance that I'm going to get with the Dallas Mavericks. And I pray that all the help I can get from them, I can continue to share in my community and on platforms such as this. So congratulations.
Thank you. I love to connect offline and just, yeah. I'm vibing through the screen right now. We seem like there's a connection going on and I can feel it. But congrats to you. I'm very proud of you and just good work.
Likewise.
Amazing. Hey, John.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, how you doing, Miss Quinn?
Wonderful. Thank you.
I completely resonated with your story because what you've gone through is literally what I'm doing right now as of this moment. I've been in the Air Force for almost 8 years. I got into it started out with cryptocurrency back in 2017. I enlisted in 2018. My brother told me about it, and then a couple of years after that, I kind of got out of crypto, wheels going down. So I was like, all right, I'm losing money and stuff like that. So, and then that's when I got into what was it? Uh currency exchange. I can't remember what it was called. And then I went from that and then Forex. That's what it's called. Forex. And then I was like, all right, this ain't it. And then that's when I got in the stock market as well, trading options. So I've been investing for almost 8 years. I didn't really take options trading seriously until about 2023. But yeah, I completely loved your story, and I also went ahead and joined in on that 3 5 business that you got going on, so I could check it out and see what's going on in there too. And then as a fellow trader, I just want to say, what's your favorite stock to trade? We all have one.
Well, I've learned one thing from Charles Schwab webinars. I can't say. But what I will say is listening to you and the financial markets you were trading, I am also part of the Ross Cameron Warrior Trading Pro community. And the one thing he recommends for any individual looking to invest, try to do well in one particular area. I've seen people lose money in Forex trading and stocks and options. And so I chose to do stocks only because I believed if I spread myself too thin, I couldn't master it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very well in stocks. My husband is doing very, very well in crypto. And my twin sister has taught me enough about options to know I'm not going that route. So for you, I would say, since you've dibbled and dabbled in a little bit, try to focus on one area. And when you start a framework, stick to it. Try to learn what you can in the one area that you are seeing the most profit and try to stick with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Temperance?
Hello, good morning. I didn't have a question. I just wanted to for me and my mom just wanted to been listening to you. And we just wanted to say that you are very amazing and very inspiring. Yes, and your spirit is so captivating and just you have me and my mom's attention. Um and yeah, we just want to say God bless you and everything that you're doing. And I played around with what was it that we were doing, Mom? Forex. Yeah. I think it was called Forex for a little bit. When I was younger. And yeah, right in COVID. And well now we stopped doing it for a little bit because we couldn't really get it, understand it. But you just made me kind of like really more now back excited about trying to understand like investing and saving. Now I'm trying to be really big on saving because I'm getting out and I want to go back to medical school for nursing. So I'm trying to understand my money the best way I can. But I'm very much so inspired is what I'm trying to say. And you're just amazing.
You
God bless.
You are as well. Thank you so much. You touched my heart. Thank you so much.
We love hearing the love. Darius.
Hey, how you doing, Janelle?
Hey, how are
I
you?
came across your LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, and I saw like your 3 5, and I was like, wow, come trying to do something similar. And I appreciate you being here and sharing your story. It's very inspiring. Uh, I noticed that a lot of people got into trading during COVID, and I think there's a big differentiator between trading and investing. Like it's two separately different things, right? Trading, like you're sitting in front of a screen trying to time the market, the ins and the outs and watching charts. And then investing, in theory, like you just set it and forget it, right? And
Correct.
so I wanted to ask you, like, from your experience, what's the biggest mindset barrier holding people back from achieving financial independence? And then, like, how do you help them break it?
And so I want to make sure, very good question. Thank you, Darius. For those of you who may not know, there are differences between trading and investing. When I was on active duty, I was primarily an investor. I didn't necessarily set it and forget it, but I was long. I would hold stocks for years, decades. For example, Apple. I have Apple stock that I've held for almost 20 years. That's investing. Then, when I left corporate America last September, I started trading. As he stated, I have candles moving to my left. I can see them going across my screen. I have charts up all day, every day. As Darius said, I am a trader, so my intent is to get in and out of the market as quickly as possible. But let me go ahead and tell on myself. There are risks to trading because when you're in a bull market, as he said in COVID, you can lose out on tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so when you trade, while you might make money that day, and for example, Intel, a company that went up 50% this month, I was day trading them. And so I have built a muscle not to say, oh, well, I should have done differently. My brain doesn't work like that anymore. And Darius, could you remind me? I don't want to miss the last part. You mentioned mindset.
So I was just asking from your experience, like, because it seems like I said, I'm trying to do the same thing, trying to help people from things that I've done. I got real estate, so I have, rent coming in every month. I invest in the stock market over time, so I dollar cost average in. And I see it as working for me, but I notice that everybody's always focusing on how much they can make, but not like how much they can keep. And it seems like investing is kind of like this mysterious thing that doesn't make sense or a scam. So if the question was kind of like, from your experience, like what's the biggest mindset barrier you see holding people back from financial freedom? And then how do you help them break it?
So I'll take it back to the very first part. You have to have goals. When I'm investing in trading, I have daily goals that I try to reach. If you reach your goal, the best thing for me sometimes is to close the charts and walk away. If I try to do above and beyond what I set in my trading plan, just like PMPs have project plans and we have business plans, there are trading plans. The mindset is if you're not organized and you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to lose a lot of money. And I'm not going to tell you that I haven't. I've lost money. I've made some trades and some risks that I shouldn't have simply because I didn't follow my own plan. So it's in my mind, it's a lot less about mindset and a lot more about following the plan you set when you look at the charts. And I'm gonna turn away from the charts and I'm gonna focus on you for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it, Darius. Temperance, did you have something else, or is your hand just still up from earlier?
Sorry.
No, you're all right. I might say your name, Taria?
It's Tiara. How you doing, Miss Janelle?
Hello,
My
ma'am.
name is Tiara. Basically, my question is for you. So I'm a business owner. I have a home-based bakery. But my thing is, my fiance wants to get into like stocks and stuff like that. And I always push that on him because I feel like it's just going to be too much for me because I'm already having a business. But I'm really intrigued because I do want to leave generational wealth for my children. But my thing is on your website, is it like amateur and beginner friendly? Because I just want to know the basics and learn the basics. I don't want to get scared from
That's
stock.
why I created 3FiveWealth. We do have different levels of investors in there,
Okay.
but even today, it's beginner friendly.
Okay.
I definitely am talking to the individuals that have not invested before.
Okay, great. Because I will be checking it out. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering the same exact thing, so I'm so glad you asked the question. Hey, Dustin.
Good morning, Janelle. Thank you so much for what you have just told everybody here. You have a platform that gets out to a ton of people. I've been screaming this stuff for 10 plus years, and it's just nice to see someone in the military community. And I put some comments in the chat basically saying military millionaires exist. And I'm so thankful that you are a shining beacon of that. And I'm so glad that you said about your strategy day trading because I trade as well. And I started out day trading with, if I don't know if everybody remembers that $1,200 the government gave us during COVID. That's what I started.
I didn't get that.
Well, I did, and I used it to start day trading, and
Wonderful.
it's been the greatest thing I've ever done. Compound Effect book taught me so much. But it's just really a praise. Thank you so much for especially saying the trading plan. I think too many people get in, especially if they're doing stock options or contract trading. They lose out on either a ton of money or they lose money. I started with something as simple as trying to make 50 bucks a day,
Mhm.
change my game. That $1,200 that the government gave me, I've 300x'd it over the last 5 years. You I mean, I'll probably join your 3-5 group just because I enjoy this stuff. It's stressful, but I get a huge high out of it. And I think you could be a great mentor to help me even grow beyond what I'm already at. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, what I will say is you would also be a great mentor. This is a new community. And so while we're building and trying to evolve, I want to reiterate my vision. One person is not a community, and I'm in several. I do envision individuals when they're coming in asking questions. If there's something you don't know, someone in the community should be able to answer the question, whether I'm there or whether I'm not there. And so that's my prayer. I really do want this community to be for us, by us, so that we can help individuals down the line. I never thought when I joined as an Airman Basic, I had no rank, that I would leave 20 years later a millionaire. And I'm thankful that I love all branches, but the Air Force gave to me above and beyond what I ever could have imagined. And then less than 8 years later, I was a multimillionaire. It literally, as you said, someone mentioned the power of compounding. My TSP, I can't touch. I'm only 46, but I'm making $10,000 a year in dividends off my TSP simply because of where my money is. And so I pray for each and every one of you. If you really understand the power of compounding, then you're much further along than most. Whether you understand investing or not, put something aside and let it ride. That's the power of 72. That's the power of compounding. And my goal is simply to let everyone know you have what it takes. A lot of people think, as someone said, you have to be in a business suit and be on the New York Stock Exchange. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's really, do you have the willingness to take action and put the money to work for you? I've done that. That's why I haven't worked in the last year. I'm working for you. I'm not working for anyone else, but for individuals who want to learn how to trade and invest and save money. I do budgeting as well.
Yeah, for everybody in this call, all the transitioning service members, wherever we're all at in our transition, what advice do you have for them, whether it's financial or just life, if they're feeling kind of overwhelmed about this fresh start?
So I'm glad you asked that question because my husband has 2 years left and we're still having this conversation. You all are ahead of where he is. Even as a commander, he has to step outside of the Air Force after this assignment and figure out what his next step. And he doesn't know. And so I would say try different things. I never knew that going into project control scheduling would lead to project management, would lead to entrepreneurship, would lead to being on the cover of magazines. And I do have to put a plug in. I also have a coach. This is my coach, Dr. Cheryl Pelote Williamson. And there are individuals that really love what we do. One, most people love veterans and what we've done for our country. But I have a coach. I have an individual that's preparing me to do above and beyond even what I thought I could do. I never knew I'd be sitting in front of you all today, inspiring you. But try something. And if it doesn't work, try something else. And if it doesn't work, try something else. And then you're going to get where I am today. I'm living in my dream job. This is what God purposed me to do. While I didn't know it 20 years ago, even a year ago, I am now living out my purpose. My purpose is to help individuals. And that's it. I don't even have to say anything else. My purpose is to help individuals. Whatever, it is, I try my very best to make it happen. And I don't want to say just in trading and investing. It's much more than that.
Thank you so, so much, Janelle. That wraps up everything I had today. It was So great having you on. I needed a little refresher this Tuesday afternoon. I can see that by all the questions and interaction that everyone else loved having you here as well. I hope you get some more members from our community. Um, we love having you here, so thank you so much.
I love you all. I love you all.
This was amazing. I really enjoyed this last hour.
We love you. Love you. Thank you all. Be
Thank
blessed.
you. Have a great rest of your day.
We love you. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, it looks like we have our next speaker. I don't know how they're gonna follow that up. The slot looks like it's open, so just take like a 6-minute break. Let me figure out what's going on next, and then we'll be back. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Miss Kalia, is that how you say your name?
Yeah, it's Kylie.
Kylie, I like how you spelled it. That's pretty.
Thank you.
Did anyone drop, like I just added her on LinkedIn, but did anyone drop the website to the 3FiveWealth? Is that dropped in the chat?
Yeah, I saw Darius drop it just a minute ago. Let me go back up and find it. Also, I totally blanked the time.
Someone just dropped it again.
Lunchtime.